But yeah, welcome back. I hate looking at the camera too. Did you ever do that in your interviews?
Well,
I guess you really didn't have to.
trying to think now, did I? But not really.
Yeah, you don't
kinda
have to like
let it go.
acknowledge it. Yeah, that's one thing I'm trying to deal with. All right, well, welcome back. Another episode, Backstage Conversation. This week, Ayeeedubb, the one and only.
The one and only era.
Yeah, no, I was hyped when you were like, "Yo, I've been waiting," and I was like, "Sick. All right, cool."
Yeah, because I was like, you basically interview all my friends, so I'm like, okay, I should be next. I should be on the line. So,
So it's like I try to play the line between like ones that people would enjoy listening to, because it's like it's tough to have. Because this is my second run, I guess, at it. The first time I didn't do any video, I just did a straight podcast.
okay.
And like I had one or two, really just one, I think, off the top of my head that was just like they're like, "Yeah, I want to interview." I'm like, "All right, cool." And like I do research, so, get some talking points, stuff like that. And yeah, they didn't really have anything. And so when I was like trying to, because the talking points are just like fillers, where I'm just like, "Hey, we got a awkward pause." I'm like, "All right, next question."
Okay, yeah.
And then and they were just not responsive. And I was like, "Bro, you
Really?
asked me to be like, you wanted to be on here."
That'd be the worst. It's like, don't be begging me to get no interview, and you just come over here and you just mute.
You're like,
You're not talking.
yeah, it's cool. And I'm like, no, give me something, like talk. So that's the other thing
Right.
where I try to filter out, where I want people who are going to be on here that want to talk, that I don't have to do the conversation.
Right.
Like
yeah.
Bobby's was a great example where like I talked hardly any, and Bobby was
Yeah.
just running, which is what I wanted it to be to begin with.
Right. I just should be, because your guest should be like the one to like kind of like
For sure.
speak and say stuff.
You are the face of the show. So it's like, I'm strictly nothing but merely not even really a host. So, but
You're just there.
yeah, I'm just a marker.
Yeah.
I'm just a guide.
Yeah.
But all right. So I actually got good stuff about you. I was impressed.
I'm curious.
But it's
Okay.
also, I think that's also the downfall of being a radio host.
There's so much dirt on me.
Not even dirt. There's
so
no
much
dirt.
money.
There will be
Okay.
no dirt. That is not
Okay.
what this is for.
Okay,
There
okay.
is no dirt. I have had to edit like one podcast way back where someone was like, it wasn't really shots, but it was like borderline, and I was like, nah, we ain't putting that in there.
Right.
Because I was like, I'm not having that. That's not what I'm doing this for. But
I'm gonna do that. Yeah.
yeah. But all right. So yeah, hometown of Cheer One.
Yes, and the festival is this Saturday.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm. So I will be in town for that.
Salisbury, North Carolina.
Yes.
So lived their whole life, like pretty much until going to college.
No, I was born here.
Okay.
So I'm from
Okay,
Raleigh.
so you're already from. Okay.
I'm from Raleigh, and then we moved away, I think, going into 5th grade, and that's when we went to Salisbury.
Okay.
And so it was there since 5th grade on up to college. House still there, mom
Yeah.
still there. And then came back to Raleigh in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and I've been here ever since.
Yeah. Okay. Dude, my dad lived in Salisbury when I was younger.
Oh.
So like this is like 2000. I mean, what, parents separated when I was like 6. That's like 2001. And then he passed later on, but like he was like probably like good 5 or 6 years. So like
Okay.
2000 to like 2006 maybe. Either way.
Yeah, I was there.
So okay.
Okay.
So do you remember a restaurant? It's on the corner. It's right by that fancy ass YMCA.
Okay.
Off of 601 or something like
Oh,
that.
or I don't know.
Okay,
street.
never mind.
I don't know. Wait, okay, good.
Basically, you know where the fancy YMCA is, right?
Yeah, in Salisbury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're huge, massive, whatever.
Okay, yeah.
Right up the street, I think it's like a tire shop now,
Yes.
but it used to be a restaurant. Mm-hmm. Do you remember what the name of it was? Was it like Scotty's or something like that? I remember it had a picture and it was like a biplane on it. Apparently, it's been hella restaurants because I was looking it up and it gave me like 6 different restaurant names, but every picture was always the same building. There was like a Don Consigliere, something Mexican restaurant.
I feel like Monterey's is sticking out for some reason, but I don't.
Okay,
I don't
never
know.
mind. And then it was like Porky's or something.
I remember
Okay,
Porky's.
okay.
I remember Porky's. Okay.
So
yeah.
there was, I think it was before Porky's.
Okay.
Because Porky's was like the latest I could find on it.
Okay,
But
okay.
either way, yeah, I remember my dad used to take me to that restaurant all the time.
Was it good?
Yeah, whatever
I've
it was
never been.
before. Never had Porky's. It wasn't Porky's when I went.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's like the one thing in Salisbury that I like always remember is that restaurant.
Interesting. Now it's a tire shop.
Yeah, it's like a Mavis or something now or
Yeah.
something like that. Because I remember that, and then there's a Food Line like right around the corner after that. I think if you keep going up or something.
Yeah, you could always a Food Lion.
Because what was in that parking lot? There was like a Pizza Hut or something? It's okay.
Pizza.
I was just
Are we in
curious.
the same Salisbury? Because, like...
It's not downtown Salisbury.
Oh.
It's like, it's still near that big YMCA they got over there.
Yeah, that area's kind of changed so much because... It's
Oh,
like,
I believe it.
The Food Lion, there's another, like, shopping center beside it. And
Okay.
that's, like, all brand new. And it has, like, some kind of donut shop and a
Okay.
Asian cuisine.
Oh,
And just,
great.
like,
Dude, always the Chinese spots next to the Food Lion.
always. But they be so good, though.
They do. I have the one that's where I'm from, literally the Food Lion. We have like, we call it the corner. It's just where it has, as long as I've been there, it's just the corner. But yeah, Food Lion, Chinese restaurant attached, vape shop right next to it.
Oh, yeah, always.
Always.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we have an ABC store, which
That's
we
actually
only
a good strip.
which we only have 2 ABC stores in our whole county.
Where are you from?
Davie.
Oh, Davie County?
Yeah,
Oh.
right next to Salisbury. Literally, I used to have to drive past the high school to go to Salisbury all the time. Right there,
Oh, yeah.
which that high school's not there anymore. But yeah. So I grew up in Davie.
Interesting.
Yeah, middle of fucking nowhere.
Do you ever go back?
My mom's still there. Literally, like you said, like your
Oh,
mom's
okay.
like your same house, basically you grew up in. Yeah, my mom's literally the same house. My brother actually just got the house, and then my mom just moved in with her husband, which is like literally right down the street. It's like 5 minutes. But either way, so my brother lives in that house now that I grew up in.
Oh,
But
that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I
Which
like that.
he's literally staying with me this week because he works in Holly Springs.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so he does trade work. They got him on traveling all the time, and so they're like, "Oh, yo, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna be in Holly Springs." He's like, "Can I just sleep at your place?" He's like, "I don't want to drive from basically Winston all the way to Holly Springs every morning and then drive back." And I was like, "Yeah, it's fine."
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, damn, I was hoping you knew that restaurant. I could not think of the life of me for it. It might have been Porky's. Maybe I'm tripping.
Maybe.
I don't remember it being a barbecue spot. That's why I was like, because Porky's is a barbecue spot.
I remember
clearly.
being like, it was like, not fancy, but it was like kind of sit in like.
Yeah.
That's why I don't know why Monterey's, or I don't know if there's another restaurant down the street, but.
Okay. I feel like I do remember a Monterey's, though.
Because
Because my dad lived, I think that street in front that goes back, he lived tucked way back over there. There's like a Gold's Gym or something. That's the only thing I remember.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, he lived like right behind the Gold's Gym.
The Forum now, right? That one? See, it changes. It changes
I got
so
no
much.
idea. Yeah, so I got to keep a timer too. This camera cuts off after 30 minutes
Oh, okay, guys.
for whatever reason. It's annoying as hell.
I had my camera that does like doesn't.
That you doing?
It cuts off 8 minutes.
8?
I don't know how to fix it, but it was so annoying when I used to do interviews. It was like, it cut off
That's
every
nothing.
8 minutes. That's
8
nothing.
minutes is nothing. I'm lucky mine is 29 minutes, 59 seconds. It will not do 30.
Really?
But yeah, so that's why in the videos you'll see me like casually get up and then come back. Yeah, because I have to reset the camera.
No fact.
But all right, cool. I don't even know how to translate because usually with the musicians it's easy because I'm like, when did you start doing music?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so I know you mentioned, or not you mentioned, I found social work was originally what you wanted to kind of do, right?
Kinda.
Not social work specifically. I think
Yeah.
social work is the broad term for it.
Yeah, I wanted to be like a guidance counselor.
Okay.
Type of thing.
Why that? Why working with like, the help, like, helping people and things like that? What gravitated you towards that?
I guess like I feel like sometimes I have like a wanting to be helpful, like personality type thing. And so like I think it was like the whole story of like, oh, I had bad guidance counselors in high school. I want to be the change.
The change
I want
one.
the movie after me and stuff like that. And that's why I kind of like did it, or going into it. And then, but at first I was like, I went to college for biology education. So again, I wanted to be a teacher.
Okay.
But I was like, I couldn't pass Bio 101 for like nothing.
Really?
No, it was so tough.
Bio wasn't hard for me. Chemistry. When I got to college and they made me take chemistry.
Chemistry was tough too.
I had to failed it. Didn't pass, had to take it again. And I was like, oh, great.
And that was me too. So I was like, I didn't want to be a 5th-year senior, so I had to like switch.
So you're like, can't do it again, I'm just going to change majors.
Just change majors. And so that's when like human services is the title. And so it gives you like your psychology classes, your sociology
I
classes.
love psychology class.
It was such a good
That was one of my favorite classes in high school.
It was so good.
So good. And especially if the teacher's cool too, but it's like psychology, it's like humans are weird.
Yes.
Like not like weird, but like just
The way we operate and think and do and like from our environment and like our situation.
Are you a nature or nurture person? Me and Catherine were literally just talking about this the other day, so that's why I was curious.
I feel like I'm a nurturer.
Okay, I agree.
I feel like nurturer.
I think I'm a nurture to an extent of environment. I think in nature or whatever you can call environment, I think plays a massive role.
Yeah.
But I think nurture can supersede the environment. Like you can be in awful environment, whatever, but if the nurture is there, I feel like it.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like you can like wherever you like are positioned and stuff. Is people can't really always factor that or decide that, and so then you break it down to like, oh well, how do we feel, how do we learn and grow up, and people we're hang with and stuff like that. So it's so interesting.
Yeah. And then you get into like, are you a murder mystery person?
My mom is.
Really, dude, mom.
They love it.
Loves it. And like our house is in the middle of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
We had to get like an alarm system. I'm like, Mom, you got to stop watching these shows. I was like, you cannot watch these Dateline shows. All these. Her favorite used to be Snapped.
Oh wow.
Which was always which is always what usually was the woman snap. Like I think.
If she snaps or something.
Yeah, and kills her husband or something like that, and she would always joke about that, and I was like, you need to.
Yeah. Like, Mom, relax.
But yeah, so social degree switched over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then I was like, of course, I was going to try to do that, but then like to really be a guidance counselor, you had to go to get your master's and be like.
Really, I did not know you needed a master's to be a guidance counselor.
Back this is what they told me.
Oh,
so
okay.
It could be different, but that's what they told me. And so I was like, well, I don't want to continue. I really didn't want to continue on like with schooling, and I didn't want to go another 4 years. I was kind of like done with it. So I barely I graduated by like the thinnest line. Like I was just like cutting it so close.
You're like, just get me out of here.
Cause I had one teacher, right, and she's watching this. I don't know, I forget her name, but she's watching it. She wouldn't. It's my last class. I had like a D, and like she was really the determining factor. I was like, if you wouldn't just give me a C, I'd be good. But her giving me that D almost would have had me not walking. I said, lady, please.
My thing is also like, what do you gain from this?
Exactly.
What do you gain from this?
Nothing.
I am one student amongst however many. Because you went to what, Wingate? Yeah, which is, how big is that? I know it's not huge, but.
It's like, I don't know, like 2,500 students.
So like, I want to know, how big is William Peace? I feel like William Peace is small. I drive past it all the time, over that, whatever, off of Peace Street down there. Either way. But yeah, super small. So I'm like, I'm one of your thousand-something people that you're going to have. And just past me. I had a teacher in high school, I think he went to Villanova or somewhere up north like that to play baseball. Either way, he said he was a baseball player on the baseball team. He said he walked into all his classes the very first day and was like, "Hey, I'll be in class, yada yada. He goes, I'll be in class, and I'll show up. Basically, was like, I'm not gonna do the homework, and I'll do it. I'll show up for test.
Oh,
yada yada. He
said that,
and he was like, just give me a C. And he said every single one of his teachers, he said except for one, was like, okay.
Really?
Yeah. Because he was like, I'm here to play baseball, yada, yada. But he's like, I'll show up to class. You know, what's your attendance file? I'll show up. I'll come up, show up for test today. I'll probably won't do great. But he's like, I'll do it. And he said, just give me a C. And they're like, yeah, it's fine.
What?
Yeah. But also, this is like the early 90s.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say.
No, yeah, this is like early 90s type of thing. So I guess it was probably different. But still, though, I was like, bro, that's like.
I feel it could be like an athlete thing. Was he like really, do you know if he's really good?
No, he's coaching high school. He's coaching teaching in high school, so.
So he wasn't that good.
Couldn't have been that good.
Okay. Well, damn.
But either way, I was like, damn, that's ballsy. Just walk and be like, I'll be here. But it's also like a give and take, too, because it's like, I'll be here. I'll be here for test. Just, I'm probably not going to do good. Just give me a C.
Right.
C's get degrees.
Clearly. That's all you need.
But, all right. So, fast forward. Switch to majors. Where does radio come into play?
Good question. Okay, so then at this point, I'm senior now.
Okay.
And so at this time where I was, we had Snapchat come up, we had Vine come up, we had like
Instagram. When did you graduate college?
2015.
Okay, so I literally was just getting into college. Okay, I didn't think we were that far apart.
Wait, you were just getting college in 2015?
I started 2014.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So then,
yeah, that's like Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, all that. Okay.
So we was like.
Were you big on Vine?
I was a little bit.
Okay.
I would get like, I don't know what they used to call it, but Revined. I think
is that what it's called?
Got Revined. I forget the terminology.
That doesn't sound right, but I feel like how else? Yeah, I don't know what else you would call it.
Right.
I think Revind's right.
Revine, right?
Revine.
I don't know. I said Revine in like 10 years. Like, that's crazy.
I had a dude at high school who was like Vine famous.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think everybody tried to be Vine.
Oh, that was. I feel like that was the first instance of people trying to go viral.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because you have 6 seconds.
Literally. So I don't know how people like got big. Like I was like a big like Vlog Squad, David Dobrik person. Did you ever watch them?
No. I see him now, but I'd never.
Oh well, yeah. Now he's like, yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. But back then when he was good, it was real good.
I remember the only time because I was I'm sure heavy on YouTube and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So I think I never really got into YouTube like that, other than like middle school, looking up like random videos. Like I remember this
fight videos.
Nah, I never was into fight. There was always this dude who did. It was like How to Be Ninja. I don't know his name. Could not remember his name for the life of me. But he did all these random ones, and it was just like parodies, clearly. But he did like how to be this, how to be that, how to be that, and they were just funny and just random stuff like that.
Interesting.
Do you remember watching Kimbo Slice? That's about it, though.
That sounds familiar.
But either way, so big blog era.
Yeah, into all that stuff going on. I had what they call it, blog spot or something. Just into the whole like, taking it way back.
Yeah.
All that stuff, and then, so we were like doing stuff on the social media, and then at this point, like senior year, I could take a couple electives.
Okay.
So I was doing like the communications classes, TV, reporting, whatever it was. So I was doing that.
I took a reporting class.
It was fun.
Not reporting. I think it was news something. It was like an English class. All I took it was like literally the longest we had to write was 300 words, and I was like, "This is fucking amazing," because it's a news article. So they're like, "Don't give me a lot," and I was like, "All right, cool."
It's a little blurb or something.
One of the girls in my class, she is a reporter for MLB Network now.
Interesting.
Right? Crazy. I see her pop up on my. When I used to work at the pizzeria, I see her pop up on the MLB Network. I was like, "Fucking wild." But either way.
That's so interesting because the people that did communications like fully, they're not in it. Whereas like people who didn't do communications for real, they are in it. From what I've noticed in my college class.
Oh, she was in it.
She was?
Oh, she, like, you look at her in class especially, she looks like someone for, like, news-esque.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her. She's on the MLB network?
Now. She used to be Hurricanes.
Oh, interesting. That's really nice.
But, yeah. Okay, so I guess, like, people who almost did, like a hobby almost. No, I wouldn't call it hobby, because, like, elective is choice. Like, you're choosing to take these classes.
Right. Okay, so I'll say that. I'll say people who majored in communications aren't using a degree. Just like I'm not using my degree, honestly. So
I'm similar.
What'd you graduate?
Graphic. I graduated, 19. It's like design studies, which is UX, which is user experience.
Oh, okay.
All that stuff like that, but I have a concentration in graphic.
Cool. Well, you're basically...
I'm borderline.
Yeah, you're right there, kind of.
But yeah, okay, so
then, doing that, but then radio didn't click because, it clicked until I met this guy that was doing open mics in Charlotte, because, Wingate is like Monroe, so we're kind of like...
Yeah, how far is Salisbury from Charlotte?
Salisbury, Charlotte now is like 45 minutes.
What do you mean now?
I feel like they extended
okay.
the highway.
What do you mean now? Okay, yeah, because where I'm from is like an hour 10 from Charlotte.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, so 45, that's not far at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And I think Monroe to Charlotte was like only 30.
Oh, okay, so you're basically in Charlotte.
Right there. So everybody would go to Charlotte to like
For sure.
party. And so I met this guy, and then he was doing music, of course. And so then we would
Everybody is. No, I'm kidding.
Everybody's doing music. Everybody's doing open mic. And so then it was very toxic, but very toxic. And so I was kind of like talking to him, and it was like, it's to the point where like, I was the driver, I had the car, all that stuff.
Ah, love that.
So when I had to go pick him up, he'd be like, turn to the radio station. And at this point, it was like a new radio station in Charlotte. It wasn't Power 98 or anything like that. It was like 103.3 Streets or something.
Yes, well, I have that written down. But I remember when I was looking it up, I was like, the Streets. I was like, I've never heard of this at all.
Yes,
but either way, yeah.
It's an independent station, and so it was, like I said, it was brand new. So I was like, he put me onto it. So at this point, I'm just like, well, I need an internship. I wanted, we didn't have a radio station on campus. So I was like, well, this would be like kind of like the closest. So just submitted stuff for internship, did an interview, got chosen, did the internship, and that was it. But it was like, it's so crazy because it's like, I'm a big person of like, things happen to escalate or domino effect to other things. And it's I always think about like, if I never really talked to him, would I have known
about the radio station?
You feel me?
Crazy
so I was like,
to think about.
I'll give him his props for that. but everything else,
nothing else.
No. So yeah.
Yeah, that's because that's crazy.
Right.
So you were interning. Is it paid?
No.
Okay. Never is. Well, maybe now. I know I had a buddy in high school who did a bunch of business interns, and he got paid. And I didn't. I was like, my design internship, nobody paid. I'm doing this off of skin on my back. I still got to go work 40 hours.
Damn.
But yeah, so you're there for 3 years.
Yes, 3 years.
So are you just interning the whole time?
So interned from like the last semester of senior year, so that's January to like May.
Okay.
Of 20.
Still doing the commute too, right?
Yeah, still commuting. So I'm still on campus and like doing all that
How many days
stuff.
a week were you having to do the radio?
It felt like every day, but I think it was only probably like 3 days.
Okay.
But it's I had so many jobs in college. I had like worked on campus. I worked at the bowling alley. I was doing other like family job. I was like busy.
Which bowling alley? In
Monroe.
In Monroe?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, never mind. I remember the bowling alley in Salisbury, so that's what I was asking.
Oh Lord, what was that, Willie?
Dude, yes.
Yeah, I know Willie.
That place, it's like right next to the railroad tracks or something?
Yeah.
Wow.
Good times. But I was at the AMF in Monroe. And just like a lane server, which was so fucking dumb.
A lane server? You just walk around and take orders, basically?
Yeah. Like, so like the bowling alley was like, it was a big one, and it was like middle lanes, and you had like a back part for the birthday parties.
Okay, yeah.
But it was like, they had a bar right in the middle.
Oh, dude, this is just like the one in Winston. It's
Really?
an AMF, yeah. It's exactly the same. Lanes on both sides. Mm-hmm. In the middle, whatever. A random bar. And then usually like video games in the front or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like our manager at the time was like, he would get mad at us for like not meeting our quota. But it's like, if I'm in the lanes right here where the bar is, I'm not going to go to the lane server. I'm going to just go to the bar.
Yeah.
So
it's
like,
one less person I don't have to wait on my drink.
Exactly. So I was like, it was so like weird. So like, he would always get mad at like if we didn't like make enough money. But I'm like, bro.
The money's going right here. It's not me walking to him.
Right. But yeah, that was that.
So 3 years?
Yeah, 3 years. So then, so it's part time. So, but then, what kind of made it interesting was because when I graduated college, I'm thinking like, okay, well, are you going to hire? I was like that limbo part, and they told me, which should have been like a sign from the beginning. They told me they didn't have enough money to like hire anybody or bring anybody on. So I was like, okay. So then at this point, I was like, I'm gonna go move back to Salisbury, get a little 9 to 5, and just like go on with my life or something. And so then eventually, I think right when I graduated, I got a call from them. They're like, we want to bring you on part-time. So I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Great. And so then at this point, so my sister was living in Charlotte.
Okay.
So then I moved in with her. Mm-hmm. And we kind of lived together while I was in Charlotte. And then doing that part-time. But this, again, I was working at Under Armour. I was working at a hotel. I was doing radio stuff. So I did like face painting. I had so many like weird jobs.
And this is all while still working part-time at the radio, right?
In 3 years. I was doing a lot. So yeah.
How much are you working at the radio? Because of part-time. What is that? Because I know part-time is usually less than 20 hours or something like that.
So I had a show on the weekends.
Okay.
So that'd be like 8 hours. So
you had your own show?
Mm-hmm. I had that at least.
How is that part-time?
Because it's less than, it was only 8 hours. Like my paycheck was so silly. It'd be like 12 hours for $7 an hour. It'd be like just $100, like kind of like thing. It was like barely nothing.
Paying for my food for the week and that's it?
Literally gas, food, and that was it.
Okay.
And so then like I would do like fill-ins. If the main people wanted off, I would fill in.
Okay.
Which would be fun. And then a lot of board work. So like we did a lot of like clubs. And so while the DJs were at the club, we had it on satellite. And then I would be at the station controlling the board, making sure it plays.
Okay, so they're playing at a club, and you're playing what they're playing?
Mm-hmm. Someone has to be at the station to like turn them off on commercials, and then go back, and you call them, you're like 3, 2, 1, you're on. So that was like the funnest part.
I did not know that was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I don't know how they do it now, because sometimes people's systems are different. Mm-hmm. But back then, it was kind of like OG.
For sure. I mean, very analog kind of thing. But still, that's crazy. I did not realize that, like, when the DJ host or whatever, when they're playing a club, you're playing. Is that why they used to do the late night mixes? Because 102 Jams used to do that. Like after like 10 o'clock, you go on and you're listening and you're like, great song, love this song. And then like halfway through, they start doing DJ cuts. And I'm like, what are we we doing?
Oh.
So I wonder if that's because they were playing at a club.
Possibly. Yeah,
Huh.
especially if it's like late night, sometimes I have a club night. And like I said, back then they used to be doing that a lot. And then pandemic happened, and they didn't go to the club no more.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of the mixes are now like recorded and kind of sent in, and no one's there really live most of the time.
Damn.
Which sucks.
Yeah.
Because my whole image of like radio and like how things would work, of course, it got kind of like when you find out like that wrestling's not real. Like it's like one of those moments.
Don't tell the audience.
I'm
that.
sorry,
No,
it's
you're
real.
good.
It's real. But then radio is like you kind of like see what really happens. It's like but so I try not to like be that bearer of bad news. Cause like my mom thinks some of the radio gigs or radio segments are real, like War of the Roses or like.
Hang on.
What do it?
Elaborate here.
I mean, okay.
So like the giveaway contest.
You should put a warning that if you don't want to ruin radio, like right here, skip to whatever marker. But this one, like the contest and giveaways, well, War of the Roses, a lot of times if you're recording people's conversations, they have to know they're being recorded.
For sure, you have to let them know, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, with War of the Roses in particular, like where they're trying to catch somebody cheating.
Yeah.
You know what, like...
Yeah, okay. I never watched these, but I remember this being a thing, okay?
Yeah, so like...
Damn, so you literally have...
Those are actors and stuff, and actresses, so they kind of like acting out like the story. Because sometimes if you always listen, you can tell where some of the voices are similar throughout each day.
I don't listen to radio enough for that, but
people who do, like you should be able to tell like these are the actors and actresses, and they're like doing this thing because like some of the stories can kind of just be like, there's no way that would happen.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are like acting, and the biggest thing is like, when you think about it, it's like, okay, the radio station is calling this random number at 8 a.m. And you would think, like, who's always answering the phone? Like, they're always...
I'm random number 9 a.m. Well, maybe now, but back then, I ain't answering that shit.
Exactly.
Leave me a voicemail.
Exactly. So it's like, they're always getting a call through and then, like, doing all this stuff and then, like, this little stuff like that. And then, so, like, the giveaways, like, for instance, I would do, like, okay, call me for your chance to win, boom, boom. So then it happens. You hear it down the radio. They call it, like, sometimes I'll get a winner, but on radio, I'm still being like, oh, I'm still looking for a winner because I want you to
because they're listening. Like 8th caller, and it's been 10 minutes. And I'm like, have 8 people not called already?
Exactly.
Okay.
So we'll do that a little bit.
And so you'll, like, hold on to that phone call conversation for a second, and then,
Yes.
That's not as bad. But what does the phone call do for, like, because at that point, what does the phone calls do for you? Like, once you get the winner? Like, the ones after that?
You can either...
Because what is that, like... Does that help the radio station?
I mean...
Is there numbers involved in that? Because you know how, like, if you work retail, like, people walking in, there's, like, I can't remember...
The little counter...
Yeah, whatever it is, like, number of people versus how many stuff you actually sold kind of thing. Because does that factor in when people are calling a radio station?
Not really. It only benefits, like, say if, like, I already take the calls and I'm kind of, like, recording... You kind of want to record them in case they say something interesting. Or you call them, you pick up the phone, and you kind of... Like, you'd be like, hello... And they're like, am I the winner? And you'd be like, no, but call again in like 10 minutes. So then you play that. It's like, oh, okay, 10 minutes. It's the whole like theater of the mind type thing. But try to like put like a little image. Yeah. Image going on.
Keeps you listening longer.
Yeah, exactly. That's really kind of all it is. But,
okay. Wow.
Just try to put on a show.
But it makes sense. It goes with anything. Like you said, okay, now the wrestling reference makes sense. Like, to me, you're putting on a show.
Okay.
Okay.
Exactly. Damn. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I did not... Damn, I feel like to me, I just never processed that you needed to do that for radio. Mm-hmm. But also, like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just, I feel like it's just one of the things, like, I just didn't think about.
Yeah, I don't think people would think about it, but it's like, because I kind of made, like, a TikTok about it, too, of, like, how, like, the radio contests work.
Okay.
And that went viral, obviously, and then there were, like, a bunch of comments being like, my whole life is a lie, and I never
it's not that serious, but definitely very much, because I know, the only thing I ever listened to is that Woody and Wilcox. I think they're like 107 or something, 107 or something like that. They're the only like names I can think of because I know they've fucking been around forever.
Yeah.
But now, God damn me, question all the stuff I've heard from them now.
I know.
All right, so you're at 103.3, 3 years. You get the part time.
Yeah.
Do you ever end up with? Go ahead. Whatever you're about to go. Whatever you got, go for it.
Okay, they let me go in 2018.
Okay.
So
by choice? Well, not by choice, but like. You didn't get fired. They were just like, hey,
budget,
can't have you, whatever.
Stuff like that. It was like no part-time.
Okay, so then is this when we go to South Bend?
Yeah.
Or was there a gap?
There's a little gap.
Okay.
So 2018, it was like freshman of the year 2018, January or something. I didn't tell people until like April because at this point I was like,
I feel like, is this like your first time like getting fired, I guess?
Yeah, kind of, basically. And so, like, but in that, from January to April, like, people was still, like, since I'm part-time, people didn't know I was going type of thing.
Yeah, because you're not there every single day.
Right.
Did you have people from the radio station hitting you up still? No? Okay, never mind.
I mean, yeah, kind of. Like, they're my friends and stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah. And so,
okay, so
finally made the announcement, like, in April, I was like, okay, it's getting to the point where, like, you know, y'all keep asking me for stuff. I was like, I'm not here. So I had to, like, kind of just told social media at that point. And so then I'm, like, applying to other jobs. Because at this point, they had, like, a job board for radio jobs.
Okay. Oh, hang on. Before we get into South Bend.
Yes.
The Fuck It Up mixtape?
What you know about that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, hell. I mean,
all I saw was something about starting the Fuck It Up mixtape, submissions, or something of that nature.
I'm crying. I forgot all about that. But yeah, it was like me and my friend who was also interning too, Jay Soile, and he was like, so he was the DJ, and I was like, I don't know what my involvement really was. I guess it was like kind of like, I don't think at the time we did playlists, Apple Music. It was still like kind of like
Spotify didn't. I think I downloaded Spotify in like 14 or 15, so it's new at this point.
Yeah,
'cause I think at this point it was still free. It was still free. I think maybe you got an ad every like 20 songs or something, super low. But either way, okay,
bet. So it's like to hear like, oh, you did a mixtape. It's like it's really kind of like a playlist
for sure.
So yeah, and it was like, so the DJ Soile, he would put like the songs together, whatever. I was grabbing like, you know, artist drops. Like this time we had like Migos there. We had like T.I. and stuff there. We had like, some big names. And then we get like, you know, I'm fucking it up with Ayeeedubb.
Do you have those taglines still?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I know we had the mixtape probably somewhere.
Okay.
And I know they're sprinkled out, but I don't have them like raw. And I was like, I did type thing. But then we had like Yachty on one of them. Like it was so like interesting.
Okay.
But yeah, it was like, I think I only did like 1 volume or 2 volumes. I can't remember.
I only saw it literally like maybe twice. So that's what I was curious. But I saw it because the hashtag Fuck It Up is what got me. I was like,
yeah, because I was like, I think I came up with that name too. Got a ton of Soile. I was like, you know, what do you think about like, oh, I'm gonna fuck it up. I'm gonna like fuck it up. I was like, it's catchy. I was like, the people gonna like it. He was like, you sure? I was like, yeah, fuck it up.
Fuck it up.
So yeah.
And I think you had, because you were on YouTube at this point too.
Damn, yeah, I was.
I don't think I found any video. I found some, but I didn't find a lot.
I hit some now.
I was doing research on Nance the other day, and he thought he hit a lot of his, but he did not.
Ooh.
He unlisted them, but he didn't remove the links. So because the link exists, I can still watch it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he was not happy. Well, he was, but it was just funny. I sent him one, and I was like, yeah. But
I'm crying.
What's the other one? You had something Getting High with Wiz Khalifa?
Oh, yeah, so I did vlogs and stuff.
Yeah, okay, that's what I figured. I figured this was very vlog era much.
Yeah, so I was like going back inside the whole vlog squad, David Dobrik, trying to do like those quick little vlogs. And yeah, that was one of the titles because I think I went to Wiz Khalifa concert, obviously. And so that was my clickbait, Getting High with Khalifa.
Damn, you got me.
Sorry.
I was like, I figured you were in radio. Like you said, you know, Migos T.I. coming through type of things. I was like, maybe you should.
Nah, I just went to the concert. Yeah.
Do you smoke weed?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I didn't think so. I don't know why. I'm just curious. I used to smoke back in the day heavy. Damn, okay, never mind. Never missed my question. I was going to say, who's the coolest person you've smoked weed with?
Oh, damn, nobody.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Because I had my only one. I was like, I only have one to smoke Dizza.
Oh, right? That's pretty dope.
Right?
But I feel like if I was ever like with those type of people, then I'd have to.
See, what's funny is because during that time I was on a stint where I wasn't smoking like at all. Mm-hmm. And then it kind of happened and I was like, oh, man, I can't really say no. I was like,
right.
I was like, yeah, whatever. So I did a little 2 puffs or whatever and I was like, all right, take that in the bag. I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I smoked a smoke Dizza.
No big deal. Period.
I'm trying to think because I forgot to put dates on some of these. So if I get into 2018 if we get into South Bend, stop me.
We're about to go to South Bend. So
Digging the Underground.
Oh my gosh, you really dig that was like an internet radio station in Charlotte. Okay. So that was kind of like in that like leaving. So it had to be like from April to like June.
Okay.
South Bend happened like in June, July.
Okay.
So like internet radio station, they kind of gave me like a free range to like pick the songs I wanted to do with the radio show. But it was like,
were you like talking?
Yeah, I was
talking.
But it was like that was toxic too because like at that point like the guy in charge, he wanted me to like cut off Ayeeedubb. He was like, because I went by Ayeeedubb forever.
Yeah, so we never got to that. Where did the Ayeeedubb come from? Well, wait, I already talked about it. All right, I know the backstory because it's the first name, last name mix, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. My question is, why the 3 E's and the two B's?
So when I had to like figure out like an Instagram handle or whatever, it just looked better that way.
Okay.
It just stuck, and then I played with
the E's look good.
The E's
They're
look
like
good.
the multiple E's with it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that makes sense.
So yeah, just having like the 3 E's, 2 B's, it was like catchy. Triple E, D-U-B-B.
Damn. Okay.
Hello?
I've never heard you say that before.
Yeah, I haven't said it in a while.
Okay.
Like either you get it or you don't.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't want to put your government on blast like that.
No,
so
you're fine. A lot of people know now because I'm kind of like getting older, and I'm like that whole radio for size, kind of like Bow Wow and Shad Moss.
True.
Like when he tried to like be in like the movies. So like eventually, like if I want to be like serious, let me go to like full name, last name.
Bow Wow, man. Like Mike.
Like
that was my shit.
Yeah.
That was my shit. That soundtrack.
Oh, so good.
I think I had that movie down there on DVD.
Hey.
But yeah, the other one was I Hate People in Wet Socks.
Oh yeah, what was that about?
It was literally I think that was one I actually watched. So it was literally a compilation, and it was just you saying things you hate. But also it was like very satire because there were a lot of things on there that were like I don't think you actually hate.
Oh my
But the
gosh.
Wet Socks made me laugh because I fucking hate wet socks.
It's the worst feeling in the world. I hate
that. And I literally just saw something today. I hate the feeling of velour.
Like the velour tracksuit type stuff? You don't like that? Ew.
Velvet, I'm cool with.
What's the difference between
Velour is like, I don't know. Velour is like smooth and coarse and like kind of not smooth at the same time. And it just, ugh.
No?
I hate it. Because I remember a few times I've touched velour. Like it would prick, like not prick, but like kind of like catch my finger.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, why? I was like, I don't like that it does that. That doesn't make sense to me.
That makes sense. Because the velour kind of like where you can like rub it one way, but you rub it the other way. It's kind of like
Probably.
ruggedy.
Probably.
Oh, okay.
I don't touch it, so I don't know.
Okay, good. Well, no velour comes near you ever. Okay, good.
Dude, I remember someone tried to buy me a velour shirt, and I was like, I'm not wearing it.
Right.
Let's see. Before we get to South Bend, your Twitter name was hilarious, by the way. Your old Twitter name?
Worst Behavior?
Worst Behavior?
Yeah.
Genius. I was like, great play on words.
Shout out to Drake for that one.
Yeah. Oh, damn, I was like right about that. Nothing was the same time.
Yep.
All right. So, I'm going to double check. I don't want to jump ahead. Okay. So, I think we're in South Bend at this point.
Okay, we're in South Bend. Okay.
So, you said the bulletin board kind of had jobs?
Yeah, and I was like, just at this point, I'm applying to
Also
anything.
kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Like that a radio
about it.
station has listings for other jobs.
It was a job board.
Yeah, still though. At the radio station?
No.
Oh,
No.
that's what I thought you were saying. I was like, damn, that's crazy. Like, yo, like, hey, here's our competition. You want to work for them?
Oh, no. It's like
Okay.
a whole like website called like allaccess.com. It's not even around anymore.
Damn. Okay.
But so yeah, it was just like people like would post what they were hiring for, and so I just
What made you pick Indiana?
well, it was hiring, and so I was like, well,
True.
I need
I
a
need
job.
something. Yeah.
But at this point, okay, so from April to June, I'm working for some tattoo ink company, like for social media.
Oh, for social media. Okay.
Yeah.
Is this like Hip Hop DX kind of?
Oh, Hip Hop DX comes in at that time.
Okay. You're doing voiceovers, right?
Doing voiceovers. So that's a funny story too, because how that even came about is because at this time I was doing from streets on the radio. I was doing word on the streets in the entertainment segment. So do that. Ended up putting some of those on YouTube or putting some on like Instagram type thing. Then that led to me doing my own kind of like entertainment.
Is that the All Snap?
Yes, it was All Snap. Yeah, All Snap. Because in my head I'm like, okay, All Snap moments, yada yada.
Yeah.
So I was doing that, and then they had kind of found that.
Oh, okay.
And then they reached out to me. At first, they reached out to me like, hey, are you coming to LA for BET weekend? And I'm like, what fucking money am I going out there? So I said, I'm not this year. Maybe
good play, though.
Yeah.
Good play.
Maybe next year. And so then like a couple months passed, and they're like, hey, we're actually looking for new voices for our YouTube videos. Would you mind applying?
Yeah.
So I did that. And that's been going since 2017 type
Man,
thing.
that's crazy. Little side hustle.
Little side hustle, and it's just been like, love Hip Hop DX, love them down. So that was happening, and then so I was doing that, and then like I'm working at the tattoo company. I had to go into the car to record Hip Hop DX on lunch breaks and like come do that. Then I was doing like Uber and Lyft, and I was working for those little like months. just to get by.
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, okay, well, I'm applying to other radio stations. Indiana, like, gives me a call. No. At this time.
You good? I'm just making sure. I don't want to lose anything.
You good? Me back.
Called you back after?
Yes, they had a new job, a new boss or whatever. So they called me being like, hey, do you mind coming in, like, for another, like, interview or whatever? I'm like, in my head, I'm like, man, y'all let me go. And it's like, yada, yada. So I go to see what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. And as I'm leaving, I get an email from Indiana being like, for an interview. And I'm like, okay, I'm big on signs. I'm big on things.
Fresh out, just walked out of another one.
Literally.
Yeah.
So I was like, so did the interview, boom, boom, came in touch with them. And so then I'm still living with my sister at the time. And I get the call that I got the job in Indiana. And of course, my family knows I'm applying and doing all this other stuff. So I'm like, I may be only 24, 25 at this point.
Okay.
And so to me, that's young.
For sure.
And so I get the call that I got the job. And so, of course, I'm crying because I have to leave, I have to move.
Because you're going from North Carolina to Indiana. Which is not an easy drive.
Not an easy drive, no family, no friends, like completely brand new. Okay. And so I'm like, so my sister was like, she comes in, she was like, oh, you didn't get it? You're crying. I'm like, why are you crying? I was like, no, I did get it, but now I got to like leave. And I don't want to leave y'all this head. She was like, well, it's part of like growing up, all that big sister talk.
For sure.
And so then ever since then, it was like packing up and, just moving and went to Indiana and was there for a year because I was on like a contract for a year.
Okay. I saw you say something. It was the worst moving experience of your life.
What the fuck? That said that? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because that whole stuff of like, new life and starting new. And at this point, I had a boyfriend in Charlotte. And I was like, but that was kind of like getting toxic too. So it was like kind of leaving all that and then, leaving family. It was just like a new thing. Okay. So it's trying to like get into like a swing of things.
So restart. Heavy restart.
But I wouldn't change that for nothing because that whole like it made me or like.
It does. I mean, to move yourself, because it's one thing to move from a new city within, because even Salisbury to Charlotte is one thing. Yeah. Or even just Raleigh like that. But it's like to move to a whole nother state.
Right. It was so big. And it's like, I've been Southern like all my life and then going to like Midwest and the whole like meeting new people and just being on my own basically. So I was like, getting used to it was like traumatic or like sad. But then like, but then like getting over it, it's like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm like that bitch. Like,
yeah. You're like, I did this.
I did that. So yeah.
Okay. So South Bend.
South Bend was South Bend. It was close to Chicago, which I love.
That's what I was going to say. How close is it to Chicago?
I guess it's 2 hours, but when you go, you lose an hour. Type thing. So
okay. Well.
Damn,
I didn't realize there was that time zone difference right there too. Mm-hmm.
So they have like a train from South Bend to Chicago. Yeah. And then if the train was like at 9.
You get there at 10.
At 10.
Okay, well,
when you come back, it's like you don't.
Yeah, that would fuck you up coming back though.
Yeah,
it's like a 3-hour ride.
Yeah, just about.
Okay, cool.
But that was like the best part, like going to Chicago whenever you wanted. That was so fun.
Okay. So South Bend, anything spectacular, just memorable that you remember there, or it was just another learning experience?
It was like the living conditions, like
it's cold.
It's cold. Oh my god, I had the worst thing. I was like in this raggedy apartment, and it was like no heat, no water pressure.
What do you mean no heat?
I mean, it was like he was really bad.
He was bad. Oh, I was like, what? I was like, that can't be. I was like, that.
No, it was really bad because it used to be like an old hotel that they transferred into like apartments or whatever, and like the rent was only like $500 a month. Okay. It was like mad cheap.
Which also sucks when you're moving out there because it's like you don't get the opportunity to like look at it beforehand.
Like luckily the radio station put me like in a hotel for like 2 weeks.
Okay. So you got a little.
But I had no credit. I had no money. I'm like, I'm fucked. I couldn't get nothing.
You're like, I look shit on paper right now.
Yeah, I look so bad. I said, damn. So then eventually that's why I had to take what I could get, and it was like an apartment. But it was in downtown South Bend. It was so cute. Okay. Little studio. It was a vibe. Mm-hmm. But then so then like my first snow and first like actual like feet of snow.
Yeah, because it's different up there.
It's different. You got wind effect. It's like it's so bad.
My brother was in Fort Wayne. Well, I have family up in Fort Wayne, but he lived in Fort Wayne for like 3 years with them, and so we went up there. We'd go up there. I don't know why we did this every year, but when we'd go up there for Christmas. Ooh. Awful decision. Dumb. 1 week we did it. Literally the high for the week was like 19. Oh my god. With like snow, like 2 feet, 3 feet of snow, and I was like, this is awful. And he's waking up. My brother does trade work, so he's waking up at 5 a.m. to go to work, 4 a.m., 5 a.m. to like get up and drive to work.
Oh yeah.
I was like, fuck that.
That's tough.
Awful. But either way.
So I
first
hate
snow,
snow,
first real snow. You hate the snow?
Oh, I mean, I like snow, but like maneuvering in snow, I hate it because our parking lot was like to the side of the building, and like I'm like, so now like I said, I'm 24, 25. I have no idea how to shovel. I have no idea. My car is like stuck in the snow. Had to do the whole like take cardboard boxes and put them underneath your tires to kind of like get up. And I'm like so mad because I'm like, obviously I'm struggling, and all these men are just walking by me with no help, and I'm like, oh, if I was in the South with a 5 foot snow, they would have helped me. But in Midwest, I was like, they were like just not helpful, just letting me like see me struggle. I was like so upset, and so I was just like so over it. Like, but then of course I get older.
You get
and I'm like,
learning experience. It won't happen again though. You
It
won't be stuck.
I know what to do now.
Yeah.
So I'm good with that. But then, but other than that, I had a boyfriend up there too, which was, again, toxic. I'm like, what the hell going on? But that was a whole other mess. That didn't last long. Because at that point, then I got the job offer in Albany. And I'm like, well.
Did you get that before you left? Or did you fulfill the year contract and then left?
Fulfilled the year contract, didn't want to renew.
So they gave you the option to renew, and you were like, no, I'm not feeling it?
Yeah, I was not feeling it. I was like, I'm done with kind of South Bend. So then, but the Albany one was interesting because I applied to that like 3 times, like sending an email 3 times.
Okay.
And they finally got back to me on like the 3rd email. And
hey, to all y'all out there, don't stop.
Don't give up.
Don't wait until you don't stop until you get a no.
Exactly.
Because it's like you said the first 2, it's not that they told you no, you just didn't get a response.
Just no answer.
And the 3rd one is all it takes. 3rd time's the charm.
They emailed right back. It was like at different times too. Like I do like first like in the morning. Second one was like I don't
trying
know,
to catch them when they're looking at it.
That like 6:30 p.m. when they're leaving work, maybe just checking their phone. Got them through, and then did the whole application interview process. And I was like, well, I got the job offer. Did the whole like, oh, can I counter? Can you like give me more money or whatever? They weren't trying to do that. So I was like, well,
they were like, no, we're not actually.
So I left, and then so at this point I'm like packing up. So again, I'm moving by myself again.
Crazy.
But the boyfriend helped, which is it was so sad because I'm like,
that's crazy.
He helped, but then so we're still together at this point, right?
So you get to Albany, you're still together?
We get to Albany still together, and so now I'm like, he was supposed to come, but I'm like, I didn't want you to come. So but he was like a really nice guy. I felt so bad. But so I'm in Albany, living so I moved in with a coworker at the same station because she had like, Albany is really interesting because we could live above like all the businesses like in downtown like Troy and Albany. So she was above a bagel shop.
Oh, that's
come on.
Amazing.
I couldn't say no to that. So then moved in with her. She had a nice little house. And then, I don't know what happened, but eventually I was just like, I don't want to be with you. So I had to like do the whole phone call of like, I don't want to do this. And he's just like crying on the phone. And I'm just kind of like, that's how I knew I was so out of it. Because I'm like, bro, like, I felt so bad. But he was like all upset.
How long were you together?
Well, like 6 months. Probably less than that. But now he's like flourishing. He got like a wife.
Oh,
baby.
yeah.
Like,
it was supposed to happen.
It was supposed to happen.
I
was a little speed bump for him. So that's all it was. So then going to Albany. Loved Albany. I was going to stay there for like ever, low key.
Really?
Yeah. And then.
Because how close is that to this New York City?
About 2.5 hours.
I forget how big New York is.
Yeah. Because I was like, and I love New York. I had like a good friend group out there. And in my head, I'm like, okay, next stop's going to be New York City.
Sure, you're right there. Got to.
Obviously. And so then, but at this point, then the job for Raleigh.
Hang on.
I figured, I think you got something else.
So, BET Social Awards?
Oh, that was back in.
So was that in South Bend?
No, that was in Charlotte.
How? Because you talked about they reached out to you about doing the BET Awards, right? Or not doing it, but if you were going to be there.
Okay, BET Social Awards was in Atlanta. BET Awards was in LA. Yeah. So we did the BET Social Awards that one time for the first time like in Atlanta.
Yeah. Was that the station's first time doing it?
Was also at that point I lied that I was at the station still. So they kind of gave me.
Oh, so you went.
Yeah, that was like right in that.
So
April
you reached out to BET, where they were working at, and was like, "Hey, I work for this radio station. Can I get press?"
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
I know. Yeah, I lied about
Genius
that one.
though.
You feel me?
Because my thing is, especially since you have the contact information, kind of situations, like not like you really have to like make it up. Because I feel like that's the thing. Because I've noticed now a lot of even festivals when I'm trying to do photos and things like that. They're like, who's your editor and publisher and things like that, and who's your boss and stuff like that. And so like I don't have that access, so it's like a lot of times I have to be bullshitting it, and if it works, it works. Right. I did one recently, which I'm still upset about. Tell me, fill out the application, right? They asked me for my Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, right?
Okay.
Followed with how many followers you got. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
They do be asking that now, and it's so crazy.
I was like, man, I don't even want to shoot it now.
Right, it's like...
I was like, cool, you want to ask for Instagram, whatever, that's fine. But I was like, you want my Facebook and my Twitter following?
That's wild. Did you see, it was like this one video, it was like a girl going to this party, and it said, 1 million followers this way, or less than a million go this way. She left the party. She was like, what is this? I saw the account
that post, like the account, the brand that was running that party doesn't have 1 million.
Interesting. It's always those ones.
Always. But I was like crazy. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, is this where we're at now?
I know. That does suck.
It does. Because I feel like you are a great example of, like you said, growing up, starting in the blog culture. Mm-hmm. And then shifting out of it. But you did catch it kind of the right spot, you said. Because like you said, like Twitter, Instagram, starting to kind of get around there. So you were already on it.
Right.
Versus having to get on it after it comes out. So So talk about that. Did that affect anything?
I mean, if anything, I just feel like kind of like luck and timing. Okay. I think it's kind of being that first go round.
Yeah.
Like people to
You're like that first wave.
Yeah, the first wave or whatever. So it's like at that point, it's like I don't know. I guess because people were so like interested in it, it was new. And then, if you were kind of like consistent, you're posting and stuff like that, you had a better chance of like being seen, and people feel like you're ahead of the curve, or you're like you're advanced and stuff like that. And so now it's like getting older, and when these job applications and kind of like other stations like ask, what's your like background, you can be like, I've been doing this for like 10 years now. Like I've been, it's not, I'm not a newbie at it. So it's like that's like the kind of like benefit.
Huh, okay.
But it's interesting because now it's like there's a whole other like stuff that I don't know. A lot of people go into SEO now and like search engine optimization.
Oh
and like that's a big thing now. And the people are into like editorial, like actual like writing.
I feel like I would rather someone ask me for SEO than my Instagram followers.
Oh yeah.
Because there's actually some analytics behind it.
That's true too.
Rather than it just being
a lucky number or whatever.
But either way. But yeah, okay, cool. I was interested because I guess, because you started on that first kind of wave of things. You never really had to adjust. It was already there.
Yeah. Yeah, it just felt like, because it's kind of like, people talk about MySpace and how he's messing with HTML. And like we're actually like coding.
And we didn't realize we were over here coding.
Right. I was like, it was kind of like one of them moments. It was like, we just did it. And it was like, you just realized what you were doing. Some type of thing.
Crazy. Okay, so we're in Albany.
So yeah, loved Albany.
Dang, I done skipped another one.
Oh, which one did you skip?
This is why you were still in Charlotte. March 25th, 2018.
March 25th. March 25th. Wait.
That was your first local TV debut?
Oh, yeah. Again, I think I lied because I hadn't been done with radio.
I was looking at the day after you said that. I was like, hang on now. These days don't match up.
I think I was lying.
And they put you on TV with that too?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think I knew the girl or whatever, like, because they would kind of do the entertainment segments. They do this thing where, like, they get a lot of radio people to come in and do this type of thing.
It's like Good Day Charlotte or something, I think is what it was called.
Yeah, it was Good Day Charlotte. Yeah. And I was, like, doing, I did my little my entertainment spiel or whatever. Had to think of the stories and, like, talk about it. That was so interesting. But, again, that was such a drama-filled day with the boyfriend thing.
Oh, with the boyfriend?
Yes.
Oh.
Like, it was
Why are you ruining my day?
Bro, I was so upset because I'm like, we had to get up there mad early. I'm thinking like, always my partner, like, he'll like be there and like, support or whatever. Sleep. Just dead sleep. that was like the last straw. I was so fed up. And then it's like, okay, I don't think he even like tuned in for real or like whatever. I was like, that's such a traumatic day, like relationship wise.
Wow.
I was so upset. But then like, of course I did good on like the show.
Yeah, for you showing out now.
Yeah, I'm on TV. Forget you. And but that was like a dope experience too. Like, first TV kind of like moment, for real.
I think I skipped a few things. Sound check it.
Oh yeah. Okay, sound check it wasn't.
I know. It wasn't yours, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, it was. Okay.
It was what I did during South Bend.
Okay, that was South Bend. Okay.
Yeah, so it was like I had a lot of local friends, well, local music friends in South Bend. There's so much talent in South Bend too.
Okay.
They were so nice, and so it was like I was able to do it at the radio station. So yeah, it's called sound checking because I'm like playing off the whole like sound check, and like is this thing on, yada yada.
Was that your intro?
Well, no, it should have been. It should have been. But so I was just doing that. So I was just talking like I guess it was a podcast. We filmed maybe some of it. I can't remember, but I remember it just being really just audio only.
Yeah.
And so that was like kind of fun to do. But then it was like so funny because I was like, when I was kind of telling South Bend Station that I was like going to go to Albany, they were like, well, you got to stop your sound checking. Like, you can't do that anymore. And like, I still had like time, like on my contract or something. He was like, you got to stop doing all that. Like, my boss at the time just like kind of just deaded everything.
After you told him you're leaving?
Yeah, he was
That's
like
crazy.
It was wild. And so then I think like I had maybe 2 weeks left, and he told me like, this is your last show. Like, you don't even have to come back. Like, it was like, that's when I realized radio was so like cutthroat sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially if like you're like,
Clearly they hold a grudge.
I think they do. And so like that was kind of just interesting to see. But the sound check, it was fun. Like talking to like giving people a spotlight, kind of what I did in Raleigh.
Yeah.
And in Albany, I was trying to do that at the station. So sound check, it was fun.
And then Trey Marquise.
Yeah.
You were in a few. I think you were in one video for sure. Okay, the Deja Vu one, the speed dating.
Yeah.
I was like, because I saw you post it and I just randomly was watching. I was like, oh shit, okay, she's in this.
Oh yeah. That was a fun day too. Trey Marquise is super talented. I know he's doing a lot of like video work and music videos. He's always had good music videos. And yeah, he asked me to be in that music video, which is doing the whole speed dating and like I think just getting up and going to different people. But yeah.
Yeah, I got the hip hop voiceover. So yeah, we're in Albany.
Okay.
Didn't want to leave.
And so at this point, it's like July, August. I had just got into my own spot in Albany. I was in this cute little brownstone right near the park in Albany. It was so cute. And then at this point, the KI75 station here, the midday was going back. She was leaving or whatever. Shout out to Autumn Joy. She was leaving, and the boss at that time was really close friends from the people that I was working with, Streets on the 3-3. So another like full circle.
Okay, and we're like what, 2 years at this point, maybe? Oh, since those Streets.
Yeah, only 2 years.
Okay.
And so then, so my friend I kept in touch with, it was kind of like he was really my main boss type thing. He was like, hey, they have a position opening in Raleigh. You should like reach out, do it. I was like, in my head, I'm like, no, I love Albany. I'm not going to do it. Like, fuck that. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to stay here. Because in my head, I'm like, oh, I'll never come back to Carolina. I was like, so traumatic.
Yeah. You're like, going, girl, now, yeah.
I was like, I'm done. I'm never coming back. And so, but then he was like, well, just like, talk to him, do the interview. I was like, okay, whatever. So I did the interview. And, it was how to go. It was a different, like, position. It was a different time slot. It was more money. I'd be back home. So I was like, maybe it is kind of sounding good for the trajectory of, like, resume and stuff. And so I was like, okay, so I was doing the interview, boom, boom. And at this point, it was so interesting because they would tell me to be like, okay, I made it from like top 25 to top 10, top 5, top 2. Yeah, I don't know why they did it that way. Or if that's even what it was.
Could you imagine? I wouldn't hate to be a business having trying to interview 25 people.
That's a lot.
And then you got to do 10 more, and then you got to do 5 more, and then you got so you made top 2.
Top 2, and it's like, then I found out who the other girl was. And it was so interesting because, like, I knew she was, like, kind of copying stuff that I was doing on social media. So it was like, damn, I'm battling with myself low-key. Because I'm like, it's either or. And this time is interesting because it's, like, 2020. We have the whole, like, George Floyd thing. And we have, like, the protests. I'm like, oh, there's no way I'm going to go to a hip-hop station at this time.
All this, yeah. Okay.
In the South, like, it's not going to happen.
Okay.
So... But it was like, I was telling my family, like, my family would be like, you deserve to get it. You're good.
Sure.
I was like,
As family would.
As family would. I was like, I get it, Mom. I was like, but I don't know. So then I'm like chilling, and I'm like at the nail salon, get my nails done with my nail lady. And I get the call from her. I told her what was going on. So I was like, oh, I got to take this. And they tell me, they were like, the way he worded it was so weird. Because he was like, how would you feel about yada yada? And I'm like, yeah, fine.
I've done 4 interviews already.
Yeah. I was like, okay, well, whatever. So he was like, well, I'm offering you the job. I was like, it didn't click. Because the way he worded it was
because he threw you off. I'm over here like, did I get it?
Yeah, because I think maybe he was like, can you come in like 2 weeks? And I'm like, He was like, I'm offering you the job. So I was like, oh. And so I was like, yeah, I'll take it. Boom, boom, boom. So like that was that.
Which is crazy, funny too, because remember how you were like, I'm not leaving Albany.
I know.
And then you got the phone call without hesitation. Told him, did you tell him yes on the phone?
Yeah, I think I did.
Okay.
I was like, it just made sense in this phone. I was like, oh, crap, I gotta do it.
You're like, yeah, I'm here. I'm here now. We locked in.
Right. And so then, trying to think. So then that happens. So at this point, it's made it tricky because like I said, I just signed the lease to that brownstone. My family had just came up and helped decorate it, like super nice. I'm trying to tell them, I was like, well, actually, I'm coming back down, so I had to come back up, take all this stuff down. But luckily, it was during COVID, so my excuse was like, oh, I lost my job. I'm lying a lot lately. I was like, I lost my job.
Who'd you say this to?
The landlord.
Ah, okay.
To get out of my lease.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I was like, oh, I lost my job. I moved back home. It's so traumatic. I was like, I gotta go home. And he was like, oh, that's perfectly fine. Loved it. So then.
Wow. Just signed it too, right?
Literally like 2-3 months ago.
And you're like, what, 12 month lease, that's probably most likely?
Yeah.
Something
probably.
like that?
I was able to break it with like no. And it was like private owner. So I was like, luckily it made it easier.
For sure.
So then, so that happens. I come
Yo,
in.
I'm lying a lot.
I'm lying a lot throughout the years. And so then,
when it was needed.
When it was needed, obviously. And so then, come back down to Raleigh, do the job. Everything's good at this point. And then, yeah. So now we're here since 2020.
Okay, yeah. So 2020, K975. Are you doing anything else on the side? Are you just sticking with the K975 right now? I know you're still doing Hip Hop DX and all that stuff, of course.
Yeah, Hip Hop DX. At that point, so while I was coming down, they started doing like a daily podcast.
Who?
Hip Hop DX.
Okay.
And so then, but ironically, it was like they had been talking to Asia Sky, who was also on K975.
Okay.
About doing like the same stuff I was doing. And they didn't realize like, oh, we're about to be in Raleigh together. So it's easier to do like a podcast. I go over her house, go over my house, do a podcast like daily. So we did that for like a year. And that was tough too. It had to be out before like 8 a.m. every single day type thing. And so I was tough. We did it the night before or like early in the morning. That was like a tough thing to get done. But eventually,
did they give you a limit, or not a limit, like what it needed, how long it needed to be?
They wanted it more like a briefing.
Oh,
like a hip-hop briefing.
Okay. That's not as bad. I'm thinking like what I'm doing. Like, oh, you need an hour and a half every single day. And I'm like, bro, I couldn't do it.
They're like 20 minutes.
Okay. Still, you had to be there.
Yeah, and had to edit and like do the research, all that stuff. So there was like that going on. And then that was really it. K975 was like my only like full-time. I didn't have to do no side thing. And, you know, I had to do no side jobs. So
okay.
It was good.
So, I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't have a lot of your K975 stuff.
You don't?
No.
Oh, I mean,
not in a bad way, but I think like you said, that was that was your main focus.
Yeah, so like I guess at that point, I'm getting used to K975. I'm in Raleigh. Oh, well, coming down, we're still in the pandemic down here.
Yeah.
So like events weren't happening.
Nothing.
There was no live remotes going on. So it's kind of tough of like trying to like get out there because we weren't.
There's nothing to go to. There's nothing to get out to at that point.
Exactly. So I'm like.
I know. I was lucky. I was lucky that I graduated like right prior.
Oh, really?
Because I graduated in winter of 2019, like early January, February.
Oh.
So it's like I got a year and then it happened. Yeah,
that is right. Oh, that is lucky.
Yeah, I was super lucky.
Yes, but we're like in it.
Yeah, deep in it. Yeah, we didn't. I mean, Raleigh wasn't really even out of it until like 2021, if that.
Yeah.
And then they kind of kept it for a while even after that.
It's way past it.
Yeah, but either way. All right, so yeah, you make it down. Nothing's really happening. You still working radio though?
Yeah, I was trying to like just do my part of like trying to be noticed, going out to stuff and meeting people. And then eventually it wasn't until maybe like the 2-year mark where like after like Raleigh was kind of like opening up, we was going outside, we was having events and stuff. And then at this point it was like people knew who I was on the station.
For sure.
And like they're used to the voice. It's not like, they have to get used to anybody new. They're like, they knew what I sounded like. They didn't know what I looked like.
Did you always have the same time slot? Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
At K975, yeah.
Yeah.
I was always like 10 to 3.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's a long time slot.
It is long. When I think about it, it's like a 5-hour thing.
5 hours.
I mean, I've had 7 to 12 at other stations, and it's 6 to 10. I was always a nighttime person.
For sure. Which did you prefer?
I like nighttime radio better.
Why?
Because I feel like I had a little bit more like leeway to kind of like, be more. You could like just talk more about different stuff.
Okay.
Like you had like older audience. It's nice.
True, because you're in the you're like end of the day. You're just can pretty much talk about whatever. Because at this point, everyone's like on their end of day kind of thing.
Right.
Versus at lunch, I guess you kind of got to be strategic about it.
Yeah, you got kind of like I just remember having to like really kind of clean up ways I wanted to say things. Whereas on nighttime, I could just kind of just say it. Mm-hmm. But like during that 10 to 12, I had to be like just making it real kid friendly or like family
you probably
friendly.
you probably got kids in the car with their parents or something like that. Damn. Okay. Yeah.
So that was the only like kind of thing. So I loved nighttime radio. I thought it was so much fun. But then, so yeah, at this point now people are like recognizing and like, you know, going out and about and they're like, oh, I've heard you before and stuff like that.
What's that feeling like?
It's always a good feeling.
Because like I feel like as an artist, like, you know, performers, something like that, people recognize you because, you know, they recognize your look, you hear music, whatever. But as a radio host, it's like, I guess now it's a little different because we do have social media, so people can see your face a little more often. But even then, I feel like people don't see it as much as you could. So it's like when I'd be like, I'm just like, oh, I didn't know what she looked like. Yeah,
a lot of people like my looks kind of like catch them up, obviously, because like they're used to the voice and thinking somebody else. Yeah. And then, but I love that feeling. Or like, it's always so interesting because people be like, I know your voice from somewhere, and I kind of just let them be like, yeah, where do you think, like, you know,
where we at?
What you thinking? And she'd be like, are you on like the radio? And I'd be like, yeah, that's, you know, like, oh my gosh, yada yada. I think the biggest thing is like, if I'm like with my sister or like my mom or something, they come to town or whatever, and they see me get recognized, it's kind of like a surreal type of moment.
For sure.
And they're like looking at me like, oh, you're really like out here, or you
especially
really,
like coming from a small place.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I think it's so funny, but like when they get like to see the stuff or they see like stuff that's happening to me, because at first, like when I was like doing radio part time, they were big on like not being radio. They didn't think radio was like anything
the final
real.
Destination kind of thing.
Right? They're like, oh, you should get your degree, you should get a real job. They were like big on that. And it wasn't until I think South Bend happened, they're like, oh, well, maybe you are good at what you do.
Maybe you are good at this stuff.
So that's like kind of like what click type of thing. And then, yeah, now it's kind of what I do, and they see everything, and now they kind of like get it. But
yeah. Well, yeah, at this point, because I mean, you have a track record at this point.
Oh, right, exactly. But I remember just being in the beginning, they were like, they couldn't understand it, and I was like, that whole like parent-child thing where it's like, let me do me, mom.
For sure, but also the parent is very much like, I just want you to be safe.
Yeah,
because it's always, because my mom, especially with me quitting in January, where I like kind of went on my own, she was like, I want you to do what you want to do. She was like, I also want you to have a place to live and kind of thing like that. So I feel like as a parent, it's kind of like, how do I let you do your own thing, but also not be a parent?
Yeah. Maybe it's like the parent handbook. Like, they just have to, like, say that thing.
Yeah, because my mom has definitely been worrisome.
Mine too.
But, yes, okay, 97.5. When does No Skips come into play?
No Skips comes into play 2023.
Okay.
Of March, so just like a year ago.
Did you try anything else prior to that?
Not really. Like, that's my first ever kind of like own event mission type thing. Like,
because that's all separate. I mean, that's Ayeeedubb by itself, right? Okay.
That's all separate. And so then I was kind of like, because at this point I wanted something that I could do that wasn't radio, and like I needed something that was like my own type thing. And
so it's easy to lose that working within like a music corporation of any sort or any creative outlet of any sort. It's easy to get like lose yourself within it.
Yeah.
Because you're like, this is what I do. I'm working for this company. I got to fulfill what they need out of me, and it's like, how can I put my own spin on it, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So you start that up. What made you choose that?
So yeah, I was on TikTok one day, and I was just like scrolling through, and I saw some guys in LA kind of do like this big listening party.
Okay.
And so yeah, they made it more like a party, and they listened to the album all the way through. And I was like looking up, I was like, well, there's listening bars and there's listening other like type of clubs, but they make it like a party. And so I was like, I really don't want to do a party. I'm not really a big fan of like hosting parties and like trying to hype up a crowd. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can.
Ah, okay.
So yeah,
so you're like, I want, instead of it trying to be like a show, you're like, I want the relaxed part.
Yes.
I want people to be able to chill and listen.
I want a chill thing. And so I was like, just talking to like people. I was like talking to my sister and my friend Stacey about it. I was like, would y'all come to something like this? Because it was like new. And I was checking the comments of that LA video, And everybody was like, oh, you should bring this to my city. You should do this at my city. I wish we had this here. I'm looking, I'm like, I see North Carolina. I see Raleigh and Charlotte. I was like, I even was like, okay, y'all come here. But I was like, why don't I just kind of do it? And so then I was like thinking about it. And I was like, and my biggest thing is like the coloring is what makes it stand out, coloring at the sessions.
The coloring, that's like actually being able to color? Okay, yeah.
So I was like, well, because in my head I was like, okay, I'll listen to an album, but I need to be doing something. I can't just sit.
Well, because then that kind of, I feel like that loses the appeal of it. But it's also something as simple as coloring.
Right, exactly.
It is just something to like fill your, I think that helps like what's the word? Like it almost helps kind of fill in the gap. Of like having to sit there for, because I mean, how long? I mean, some of these albums, you get lucky, some of them 30 minutes, 40 minutes, but then you get some that are like
hour and a
half.
half.
Yeah. So it's like, how can I keep people
engaged or kind of just like there or something? So that's why the coloring came in, because I was like, I had to be doing something. And so then we just kind of, I was like promoting it, or like kind of getting it together. And I just made the announcement of like, you know, like doing the promo video. And I was like, I knew I needed just that one session so people could actually come and see what it was, grab the content, and be able to keep posting, and people be like, oh, this is what we're doing. And so we did...
Like the first one's always the guinea pig.
Always.
Because you never know what the turnout's going to be, if it's going to be anything.
Nothing. And so I remember, like, the first 6 ones were a free session. And I
remember that, yeah.
Some people, I get some kind of, like, feedback of, oh, I remember when this used to be free. And I'm like, well, I'm going to kind of make some money. So, but the first sessions were free. And so, like, that we did, like, RSVP.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it. Because I was definitely one of those people on the initial. Because
really?
Yeah, because I had went to one, and I was, like, going to go to a next one. And then it ended up being, like, I think I was still working at the pizzeria. And you always kept doing it on Wednesdays. Or the one I think I was going to go to was on a Wednesday. Either way, I wasn't going to get off in time. And I was like, man, $20.
Oh, yeah. No, I get it, too. I'm just like,
For
yeah.
sure.
I was like, because sometimes I was like, I wish I could, like, to me, I always say, like, I wish I could keep it free. But the stuff that we do during them, it's like...
You're not, because really it's not even necessarily, you're not paying me. Like, you're not paying you, more or less. It's like you're paying for us to be able to provide all these extra pieces.
Right.
And provide this experience. Kind of thing, like, because the coloring books, I'm sure they're not free. It adds up. And then, because what do you usually have with it, too? You do giveaways, too, and stuff like that.
I do giveaways. I pay for the door. I pay for the camera person. Pay for the color sheets to be designed. Now I include food and drink type thing. But then, yeah, if it's paying for, like, a live painter, or it's paying for, like... if this has been, like, like, food... One time I did a cookout, so it was, like, a lot more food I had to pay for.
For sure.
But the live painters definitely cost. The live rug maker cost. And the color and pencils and crayons, they are not cheap.
And you never leave with the same amount you came with.
Never ever. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm buying crayon pencils like it's water. I'm always buying them. I'm like, I can't believe I go through so many like color pencils, and then like sharpeners, and then like buying mic equipment. There's so much stuff I have to pay for, but it's like, yeah, I wish I could make it free. I really do wish I could make it free.
But it's also like this makes the next one better.
Exactly, because I'm like kind of like, you know,
because this is the stuff you have now is not what you started with, as far as like being able to give to them.
Oh yeah,
Because you probably had the coloring sheets to start it off.
Yeah, I remember it was kind of the coloring sheets, the initial crayons and pencils, and the first one we bought like these cookies that have like the album cover on it.
I remember that actually.
Yeah. So like those aren't cheap either. No. So it's like I had to go stuff.
Got some cookies.
I had to do all that stuff, but
yeah. So I mean, it's been after you left K97.5.
Yes.
You ramped it up.
It's like that's so funny too because like left K97 and then like right then there we had Dreamville coming up. We had the 1 year coming up. We had my birthday coming up. So I had like really big no skip sessions to plan. And then right when it happened, I was taking I had to do a lot of meetings and stuff during times that I would have been on air. And it's like, bro, I don't know how I would have been able to do that.
You wouldn't have. And
do all that stuff and decorate, transfer code like we did for Dreamville and, do all the birthday stuff. And now it's like when I have the sessions now on the days, I'm like, I utilize the whole day before the session. I was like, I would get off at 3, have like 2 hours to kind of get ready and do all this stuff. It was so busy. So it's like, it kind of like happened at the right moment. I still don't know. I kind of know why it happened.
Okay.
Like letting go from like K97. But sometimes I kind of be like, I need like actual like solid proof. Like, why was this a good decision. I get like little,
For you?
Yeah, for me.
Okay.
I get good like little like moments.
Okay.
Especially like, just having more time to do no skips and being able like to travel and like do things like this and not have to be on no one's like time schedule.
Well, yeah, because now you get the option to kind of set your schedule rather than you having people having to work around yours all the time.
Yeah.
Where it's like, no, I can make this happen now.
Right. So I had to like if I was still there, I had to take like PTO for like my birthday and like the Dreamville and that was another thing too, like that being at Dreamville, I was able to do my own thing, make my own content. I didn't have to like report back to the station or be there at a certain time and things like that. Like, so like, it's like little moments where I'm like, okay, this makes sense. But some of them it's like, okay, what's next? Like I'm waiting on like, what's your
next piece, I guess?
Yeah, to kind of like take over
okay
what the radio void would be. I don't know. But sometimes I'm just kind of like waiting on that moment. So yeah.
What do you feel like you want to do next?
I mean, everybody tells me to like go on tour with No Skips and do a No Skips tour or like kind of go to different places, which I mean, like that'd be so cool.
Do you think you have the recognition for it?
I mean,
I think you could do it like a North Carolina tour easily.
Oh, easily North Carolina.
Easily North Carolina tour. I think that could set up for potentially, the next one. Do you advertise at all?
I do. I mean, sometimes I'll put like, ads behind some of the flyers and then I talk about that all the time of like ways to like promote and new things to do and new audiences to tap into. Because Raleigh and Durham, we know that's good. Winston and Greensboro is surprisingly really good. And so we need to start doing them like on a more regular basis.
Have you done one in Winston yet?
We haven't done one in Winston.
Okay.
We've done 2 Greensboros, and I had this spot in Winston. Our first Winston is going to be in June.
Okay.
Right in downtown Winston. It's so cute.
You doing the Barcade?
It's called Dose Collective. DOSE.
I feel like I know it.
I feel like you would know it.
Probably. That's literally basically where I'm from now.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't grow up in Winston. I grew up in Davie, of course, but it's like that's the closest thing.
Right.
So, which is funny enough though, I never really went in downtown growing up.
Oh.
I've been more in downtown recently than I have like after I graduated than when I grew up there.
Oh, I see.
Which I have buddies who own shops down there now. I have 2 buddies that own shops down there now, so it's more of a reason for me to at least go down there. But I like downtown Winston now.
It's cute. I like it too.
It's like getting some nice things. Dose Collective though, I feel like I've heard the name, but I don't know.
Yeah, they got some dope like.
You said it's in downtown too?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's I couldn't tell you the street.
It's Trade Street's the big one. That's like
It may be Trade Street.
Trade Street's like the one that's like your main downtown street, pretty much. Trade Street, and there's another one that's got a bunch of restaurants on it, but I cannot remember that one. But
she's like right in that downtown like kind of.
It's not a very big downtown, so it's like even if you are off like one of the side streets, you're still close.
Yeah, true.
So expanding out of state, maybe.
I want to do one out of state, and then I think that'd be kind of like set it off to kind of like be its thing. Because like I said, when I did the first session and it had like the video clip, luckily that went viral on TikTok. Same as I saw the guys in LA, same kind of like effect, and all the comments of like bring this to Houston, bring this to DC, bring this to like all these different places. So it was like we had that 2 viral moments with No Skips. So it kind of like boosted that. But now it's like I gotta like try to just keep going. And a lot of people are like, if you do Charlotte once a month, if you do Greensboro area once a month, and Raleigh Durham, that may spark off it more. Because before, we only done Charlotte 2 times.
You sold out both of them though, didn't you?
Yeah. But I was doing like every 2 months because, I was busy with radio and yada yada. So now I was like, I do have the time to be there once a month. And so we're going to start being there once a month, obviously. And so seeing how like that kind of boosted type of thing. Because, So,
because I feel like Charlotte's a hub. So it's like you're getting a branch effect. It's also like that scary thing of like trying to do a tour of any sort, where it's like, I could get it set up, but it's like, are people gonna come?
Right. That's like the biggest thing. It's like, oh my God, I'd hate to like book a flight or book a car, and it's like, you
get out there and you got 5 people at the door.
It's like, well, damn, y'all ready? Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Y'all ready to go ahead and do it type thing. But
no, it's scary. I feel like that's also the scary thing of going on your own too, though, because you really don't have like the fallback necessarily. More or less, because it's like, that's your move. Is there anything else you want to do other than No Skips?
I mean,
I feel like you do good host as general. Like you do a lot of hosting.
I do.
You're hosting one tonight? Saturday.
Okay.
But
that's really kind of like I'm just kind of stopping by and like introducing the main act, which is cool with me because,
Yeah,
like I said, I talk a lot and I like to talk, but I don't like to.
Well, also, dude, some of these shows, especially around here, I've noticed there's a lot of showcases.
Yeah.
I can't stand them. I hate the showcases.
I'm the same way.
But it's also like, I get it. It's a good platform. But it's also, it's like, well, it's like, especially with Jay, we try to be, because it's like, people are like, yeah, come do this. I'm like, bro, there's 15 people on this line.
I know, yeah.
Y'all got 3 hours.
Yeah.
I was like, you got 15 people.
Yeah.
But it's also like, I feel like a time thing too, like, because you don't want to stand there for 3 hours.
Yeah, and it's like, how many ways can I think of how to introduce some person?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I try to like kind of not do that. So I kind of like got into more just like event curating. So No Skills has kind of introduced that.
For sure.
I want to do the Groove and Glide, the skate thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so upset I couldn't go Friday. I was working the Beats and Bars downtown in Durham.
Yeah.
Which ended up being okay.
Interesting.
Friday was okay. I don't know. I didn't end up not going Saturday.
Did it rain on y'all on Friday?
Before I got there, it
Okay.
started. I think the shows or the performances started at like 7, and I think it rained prior.
Yeah,
but
same.
afterward, it felt amazing.
Oh yeah, after all the rain passes, it was really good.
Felt so good.
It was so good.
It was a little dismal on the turnout though.
Really?
Yeah, it was not a lot because Jacquees was the one for Friday night,
And the Young Dro was Saturday.
I wish I kind of would have gone. I just did not have the social battery in me.
I feel that.
I did not do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was only like about 30 people maybe.
Really? Because I was like, kind of like, because when we picked the day for the Groove and Glide, I was like, I didn't realize there's a lot of graduations going on. Beats and Bars is going on. I was like, I remember I used to go to Beats and Bars before, but it didn't used to be that expensive either. So I'm like,
I didn't know how much it was. I had a media pass, so I was like, okay, cool. And then I was talking with my guys, and he was kind of like, he's like, yeah, it was like $150 for 2 days, and I was like, what?
I know.
And then he was like, yeah, and I was like, I would not. And my thing now was because I don't know if it was last year or the year before when they did it over on Tobacco Road over there. Great location.
Real good.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Easy walking access. It's you can't not go to it kind of situation. Plenty of seating. Just visually much better. You got restaurants all the way around you kind of situation.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a great spot. And so.
So was it there?
No.
Oh.
It was
so
in
where was it?
the parking lot behind Pinhook. Right there in front. Right there where the bull sign is. Literally, right in between, smack dab between those two parking decks.
Really?
And I was like, yo. Which I'm sure that because that area, I'm sure is not cheap. The Tobacco Road one, I'm sure it's not cheap. I'm sure the permits thing's a little different over there. And I know Friday when we were out there, I think there was something at DPAC and Durham Bulls game.
Ooh. Yeah.
But also, I remember when I went the other week, whatever year they had it, there was a Durham Bull game in the middle of it, and like people just kind of let it happen. So I don't know.
Familiar too.
But yeah, it was an interesting location choice.
Interesting. I didn't know it was like over there because all I remember was like the year where I think it was like the Deep End and Sean Kid, and it was like I don't know where it was. Of course, if you just stay on Tobacco Road, I don't know where the stage was because it's like
under that tower, the water tower.
Oh yeah, was it?
I think so. I don't know if there's a water tower. Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, but it felt like it was like the stage area was like kind of like behind something and how like the parking lot. But it was like it took you to somewhere. I'm so confused.
Either way, but
that was a good year when that was. So if it wasn't there this year, that's interesting.
Yeah, so that was the other thing that shocked me. I was like, oh, but also, man, that's like that's the tough thing about doing festivals because it's like if you have money to spend, you have to spend it on the right people.
Yeah, it's true.
Because names bring a lot, and then it's also like, all right, now who do I put in front of them to get people to come out earlier? And then what price tag do I put on it to get people to want to pay?
Right.
And then make it worth the while kind of situation. But yeah, it's tough. Do you see yourself doing festivals?
I'm not putting them on.
Not putting them on? Okay.
I would love to still be like, okay, the corresponding or like the interviews. I still love doing that. And like
you did that at Dreamville pretty well. Or not pretty well, but in general, just like you were walking around doing it.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Just the walking up to random people and being like,
Now as I'm getting older, it's like I know what I'm trying to get accomplished. I'm like, I have to do that to get
for
that.
sure. By these things, do people act a fool if they see a camera?
Really?
The few times I've helped people, but granted, I did I helped a dude who does actually shout out football. He does the Mr. Football channel, but I helped him one time for one of the state games, and he just goes to tailgates and just helps gets the crowd kind of situation.
Oh,
but also
okay.
that environment is completely different than the Dreamville Fest.
Right. I was about to say, because like when we were in Dreamville, it was like me and my camera person. We were like, and in my head, I'm like, oh, they look like they're chilling. I'm like, I don't want to bother.
How'd you
them.
get a camera in? Did you have a media pass? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yes, I had that, and I just had like the little. It's not like a DSLR, but it's like the what do I have? The Sony X1.
Oh, XV1 or whatever. It's like the blogging one. It's super popular.
Relax.
Either way,
it's the creator camera, but it still works.
Well, vlog.
It's a vlog camera, but it's a good quality.
It is. I've heard it's good quality. It's not crazy expensive. Yeah,
not at all.
I've heard it's good.
Yeah, it's real good.
But yeah, okay.
And the mic on it picks up really good because we have like a little. I attached a little like lapel mic to like my little sunflower, but we didn't even need that audio. Like the camera,
really,
from this little mic picked up. We're like at the stage. It's windy. It's other people walking by, and we're like kind of far apart.
Yeah, because you got to get everybody in. Yeah,
it was such a good camera. So I recommend that camera. But
cool.
yeah. So I like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like the talking to people, creating content, because I love like editing it and like making it interesting.
I hate editing.
Really? I have to be in a good editing mood.
Yeah, because usually when I do the clips for these, I got to literally sit there and kind of, because I remember what we talk about, but it's also like, I got to go back to it, like, all right, is this a good 10 seconds right here?
Oh,
and then get another 5 seconds here, 10 seconds here, over a course of, we're probably an hour and 30 minutes at this point.
Yeah, I couldn't edit these long interviews, so I commend you because I'm like, when I would do the ones at radio.
Because you only did like 24 or 30 minutes maybe?
Yeah, like 30 minutes or less.
I saw one that was like 40.
Yeah, I think that's with Hat Jr. I think he's like a long one.
Yeah.
And then it's like, but I remember like having to edit it, it was so tedious. But I had to be kind of like, okay, I would set like minute markers of like what we talked about. So I can go back.
Smart.
That's what I would kind of do.
Might be my upgrade. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I might need to add that to my repertoire.
That's why I make it like easier or whatever. But
yeah.
But also, I was doing it the long way too, because I know it's like I don't know, what do you edit on?
Depends. I use various things. It all depends on what I'm feeling. So I use Adobe Premiere majority of the time. But then if I'm doing color grading and things like that, I got to do DaVinci Resolve.
Okay.
Which DaVinci is easy to edit in, but Adobe's a little bit quicker. Shortcut wise. But yeah. So,
well, I'm on Final Cut.
I love people use Final Cut. I know a ton of people use Final Cut.
Okay.
Yeah. Final Cut is super popular. I just have started with Adobe, and then that was what I stuck with. And then when I started doing music videos and more video content, like heavy video stuff and like stories and things like that, I was like, all right, let me figure out how to color grade correctly. Because you can do a little bit on Adobe, but DaVinci is like, when you first download it, it's like super fucking intimidating.
Really?
Dude, it looks like a science experiment.
Really?
It's got all these pieces, but like once you figure it out, it's easy.
Oh, okay.
It's so easy, but it's like when you first look at it, I'm like, dude, what the fuck is this? It's super confusing.
Interesting. I have not touched anything. I've never touched any Adobe Premiere or the DaVinci. I've only been Final Cut.
You save some money.
Yeah.
DaVinci's free, but
it is.
Yeah, DaVinci's free.
Oh.
It's the editing stuff's not. Unless you get you can buy the studio version, but they do like Apple where it's like one-time fee. You don't have to do the subscription.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's the only reason I would stick with that if I didn't have, because editing photos and things like that, I got to use Lightroom or Photoshop.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like I don't have another software to use, kind of thing. So I was like, well, I got to pay the subscription.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they just cut off my student discount.
Really?
Yeah, I made it this long. I graduated in 2019.
You did good.
2019, and they just cut it off. So, yeah. They're like, yeah, we got an email. They're like, yeah, I see you're graduating. And
It's like, oh, am I?
I'm like, yeah, crazy. Crazy.
Wild.
But that's all I got for you, Ayeeedubb.
Alrighty.
Anything future coming that we can expect that's already in the works? More no skips?
Yeah, more no skips. I will say there's already some talks having a different state. So we will see. I have another idea for a no skips event I want to do. It's more like a flea market.
Okay.
So think of like a no skips flea market live performance.
Live performance?
Yeah, because when you talk about showcase, I was like, people ask me like, oh, I should throw my own showcase. I'm like, at the same boat, I don't really like doing showcases because a lot of people do them. So, and I know I have a lot of friends that do music, so I was trying to like kind of get them kind of involved.
For sure.
So I'm thinking of like a no skips flea market live music base.
Okay. That's kind of not similar necessarily to, but I think it plays part. Have you ever been to Boxyard RTP? It's like right there. It's like off of.
I've been to Boxyard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I know they do flea markets out there occasionally, whatever. But I know CJ's performed at one of them, and I was like, that's cool because it's like she's not really like she's performing. She's super casual. She's getting to sit down, in the shade, whatever. And I was like, damn, it's a nice little like touch to have some decent music playing while you're kind of shopping around.
Right. And I know the Durham Fruit also does kind of like a flea market music.
I've seen it. I don't think I've ever been. Mm-hmm. Is it inside or outside? Because the fruit's big.
See, I've not been to the Fruit.
Really?
Ever, and I need to. But
I didn't realize they had 2 separate rooms.
See, I didn't know that.
Exactly. There's a small room, I think, when you first walk in, and then I think to the left is a bigger stage with a little bit more room in it. So I don't know where they do the flea market thing, but I would assume probably to the right side. But
that makes sense.
Big space.
Yeah. So I saw like they kind of do one similar, but it's more like actual audio equipment. So like you can like if you're looking for like a turntable or a mixer, someone's kind of selling those type of things. So I do like a mix of clothing and vintage and food
stuff that people can afford.
Right, like making it like easy, and of course having the live performances, and some of the no skips comes in of like I'd have them kind of do more like renditions or covers.
Okay.
Stuff that people know.
Fair enough.
Doing it in their own style, but also they can sprinkle in their own.
Yeah.
So that's like my other like big things. So like the Groove and Glide skating this summer, no skip.
I feel like that's gonna ramp up for you this summer. The Groove and Glide.
I hope so. I ain't found a good day where nothing's going on, good weather, and then but like this, the first 2.
When are you gonna start skating though?
We had enough time. No, I'm kidding. No, I need to start learning skating. I know there's people.
I didn't know you did.
I don't skate.
I was like, oh, she put on the events.
Yeah. Dude, I was supposed to be the great skater. I did not skate. I'm afraid of like being older and like taller and being not on the floor. So
I don't think the older was needed, but
no. But no, exactly. So I'm afraid of like just falling, like messing up everything.
Yeah, I had a buddy who fell ice skating, but he's also like 6'3".
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, broke his arm, all this other stuff.
See, I don't have time to like break it.
You got time now. You can still do no skips with one arm.
Could you imagine me in a sling and a neck brace, like trying to do like music and like talking and everything?
Yeah. It'd be fun.
All right, we'll think about it. But
it'd be fun. Get everybody sign your cast. It's like grade school all over again.
Oh my gosh. Okay, maybe
Did you ever break anything growing up?
I feel like I fell really bad and I broke. Well, I don't know. I messed up a wrist, and so I think it's this wrist because one wrist won't pop.
Okay.
And so I feel like, oh, this is definitely broken. But I don't know. I feel like,
yeah. Did you have a cast and everything?
I didn't have a cast, but I remember it just looking weird at one point. And I just remember I was
don't know if it's broken. It looks weird, but.
Yeah. But like, I don't think I ever broke it down. I had stitches, of course.
Okay. I've actually never had stitches.
No?
No. Probably been winter times I probably should have gotten them, but it didn't. I've broken bones, though. I've broken 2 bones. And I've broken this arm twice. 2 different times as a kid. And then I broke some toes, but you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And then I've hurt some arms in there, but yeah, this is my dominant hand, too.
Are you a lefty? Mm-hmm. Oh, do you have a twin?
Do I have a twin? No.
Yeah.
I have a younger brother.
Oh, okay.
Who looks like he's 40, but he's like 25.
Oh, okay, period.
But yeah, broken this one. This is my dominant hand. But I was like first grade the first time. Second time, third grade. So these are like your pivotal like writing years.
Yeah.
So I was in a cast, couldn't write. So I had to right hand.
Oh, okay.
So I do a ton of stuff right-handed now because it was like when I was learning to do things. So like literally the only thing I do left hand is write.
Interesting.
And shoot a gun, technically.
Oh,
I'm
got
left-handed. But everything else, throw.
With your right
hand, yeah.
So are you ambidextrous, technically?
To an extent. I can't write well with right-handed. I can get it done. You can read it.
Okay.
But I'm not fast.
Oh, got it, got it.
I can like play basketball. I can semi-switch both hands.
That's pretty good.
But yeah. So like right hand is.
Wait, so do you shoot with your left though? Your camera? Is that what?
No, right.
Really?
But also, I can't shoot left. You can't shoot camera left.
You can't?
You can't press the button.
Wow.
Yeah. So even if I was left-handed, I think I still do. But also, like camera, I think is like one of those things where you can kind of both ways. It just depends on where I'm at.
Interesting.
But yeah, you can't. Yeah, I just thought about. I didn't think about that until literally you just asked me. But yeah, all the buttons are on the right.
Would you use your left eye or your right eye?
That's the part I was saying, where it's like, I think it just depends on the situation.
Oh, okay.
I definitely probably go predominantly left. Yeah, I predominantly probably choose my left eye.
Okay.
But also, I probably go right eye too. It just depends. Because, as a photographer, I'm like on the ground.
Yeah. You're doing it.
Yeah, literally, I'm laying on the ground trying to get the shots or whatever,
yeah.
angles and all that stuff. So I think it just varies. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Interesting.
But, okay.
Period.
Ayeeedubb.
That note.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was a good one. Yeah, solid, nice little hour and a half. For sure. I'm glad we got this one in.
Me
and
too.
it was so fucking easy. I literally hit you up and I was like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm down. Like, all right, next week. But yeah.
Simple.
For sure.